Sunderland are becoming a problem for the Premier League. And when I say a problem, what I really mean is everyone who's in the established 17 are expecting the newly promoted teams to get relegated. That is the gamble that they all make. And that was the prediction from pundits and whatnot. That was even the prediction from me. I thought we would struggle this season. And obviously, we're only 6 games in. You can't get too carried away, even though the mantra is let's get carried away. But we can't get too carried away with the start. But I think we can certainly say that Sunderland are very clearly going to be a very competitive team this season in the Premier League. And will be in pretty much every game. And will be competing for points. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the Nottingham Forest game. We're going to talk about the wider Premier League. We're also going to look a little bit ahead to Man United and also ask the question, should we be looking up the table rather than looking down? So please get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think about Sunderland's start this season. Please like and subscribe as well if you enjoy it. Let's talk about Nottingham Forest though. So my reflections on this, and look, I've listened to the podcast this morning. I was on the What the Fault yesterday. And for me, the main takeaway that I've had really from the start of the season is Sunderland's defensive strength. While Forest, of course, they did have chances and they have really, really good players. Look at their squad and their forward line and how much it cost to put together. They have a really, really good team. And yes, they did, have a few where they could have scored. Chris Wood missed a header. But overall, you look at that Sunderland team and you just think, do you know what? This is a team that knows how to defend, that loves how to defend. And it's every single player on the pitch. It's not just the back four, even though they are really, really good. It's everywhere. And it's clear we're a well-coached team. And that is the main takeaway I take from our start of the season, is that everyone knows their job. We have a game plan there for every single game, which is to limit the opposition's chances in front of our goal. And look, in the Premier League, you are going to come undone. There are going to be moments of quality, and there's nothing you can do about that. But we are limiting teams. I mean, even yesterday, we play against an Ange Postecoglou team, the first home game under him, desperate for a win. And while they did create a few chances, we overall nullified a lot of their threats. I mean, when Morgan Gibbs-White came on, how much did you save him on the pitch? Chris Wood, he missed a couple of chances in there, but overall we kept him largely quiet. Hudson-Odoi, when he came on, we nullified him. Back where it looked dangerous, but we did well to nullify him. And Doy up front, who they've paid a fortune for, he looked really, really good. But again, we look at it and how many chances did he create? Elliot Anderson, we've all been ranting and raving about him, or certainly the media have. And I thought we did a really, really good job against him. So we look like a really, really solid unit. And that is a massive plus, because newly promoted teams, they normally get in the Premier League and they struggle with the defensive side of the game. Look at Ipswich, Southampton and Leicester from last season. The main issues that they had were A, they couldn't score goals, but B, they couldn't keep them out their own net. When you can't do them things, obviously you're going to struggle. If you can't score and you can't defend, you are going to struggle and go down. And look, we don't necessarily look like we're going to score tons of goals, but the fact is we know we can rely on clean sheets. We know we've got Robin Roofs there, we've got Alderete and Mukwele and Ballard and Hume and all them good players at the back to keep our defence rock solid. So that is a massive takeaway. Set pieces are absolutely key, and I talk about this on the channel all the time. We're a team that is built to do well from set pieces. And we saw that, with the goal against Forest. We get a set piece, we take it, a fantastically well-worked move. Alderete gets in around the back, scores a header. Those are absolutely key. And how often did it feel like Forest were going to score from their set pieces? It felt like every time we got one, we might score. And it always feels like we've got a really good chance of defending them. And you trust that backline and the goalkeeper to see through our set pieces. We've also got to talk about Granit Xhaka, who was phenomenal yesterday. He got the man of the match. But he's just given us so much nous in the game, and he's helping us win points and, stay in games and control the game and control the midfield. And you just feel like while he is on the pitch, there is an air of calm. And, obviously, if we were to, say, lose him to injury at some point or a suspension, that could be significant for our season. But right now, when he's fit, and I'll touch wood on that, when he's fit and when he's raring to go and he's playing the way that he is a problem for every Premier League team, because he just gives us that world-class quality. There's not many teams in the Premier League, even the Premier League, have a midfielder of his quality. He is an absolute animal in that central area. And look, we are a problem for the Premier League. I mentioned at the top of the video, but the Premier League is it's an established league. The 17 have been in there for 4 years now because of how poor the the newly promoted teams have been in the past. And that means that there is maybe a complacency there that, you know what, we don't actually have to be that amazing to stay up. And we can see that West Ham's moved Graham Potter on. And I don't think West Ham moved Graham Potter on if Sunderland, Leeds and Burnley are struggling at the bottom of the league. Because they would look at it and go, do you know what, we can trust this process and stick with him. The fact that Sunderland in particular, but also Leeds, they've both had such good starts to the season. They both look competitive in the league. And look, Burnley, they've had a really hard fixture list, so I don't want to go too much into, Burnley themselves, but I think that all three look very, very competitive, and that is making teams in the Premier League have to think and go, do you know what? Can we waste more games on Graham Potter trying to figure it out? Or do we have to make a move and bring in Nuno? And the thing is with that is that the more points that Sunderland pick up, if we are getting away from this relegation and, we do sort of look by, February time that we've pretty much picked up the points that we need, that means an established Premier League team is going to go down, and that is obviously a massive problem for them. And I think no team in the Premier League is looking at Sunderland now as they were at the start of the season. I talk about the pundits all the time and how they had Sunderland to go down. No Premier League team right now is looking at Sunderland thinking they're going to go down. Look at the percentages, the chances of Sunderland going down right now with 11 points from 6 games. No team's been relegated from that position. Sunderland have got to pick up 29 points from the last 32 games, less than a point per game to stay up and get that 40-point total. So nobody in the league right now is going to look at Sunderland and think, yeah, do you know what, they're going to go down, that's a place. And again, that is a big problem for the Premier League. And if you look at the league table right now, we're 10 points ahead of Wolves. That's an incredible amount for them to pick up. And I thought they were good yesterday against Tottenham and probably were worth the victory. And you look at Burnley as well, we're 7 points ahead of them. So that's two teams that have got a lot of work to do to catch up to Sunderland. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. I didn't think Sunderland would have such a good start to the season. And I think that there are teams in the Premier League right now who are looking at it going, we might end up in a little bit of trouble here, because even Forest, who I don't think will be in trouble, they've got so many good players, but Forest will be looking at this going, we can't afford to lose too many games, because if Sunderland and Leeds both have strong seasons and stay up this season, that means two of them established 17 are going to end up relegated. And it's really hard when you look at the Premier League to pick who you think could go down, because I think Wolves, yes, I think a lot of people would have them. I think Burnley, people will have them. But after that, who are you calling? I don't think, Fulham, I wouldn't say are in danger. Villa, surely not. West Ham, well, they brought in Nuno, and you think that he's going to turn things around for them. Who else is down there? We've got Forest, who we could talk about, but again, you would look at them and say, Forest probably not. Man United, are they going to be in trouble this season? We've obviously got them coming up. So, and I'm going to look at the rest of the table, see if there's anyone I've missed. Obviously, I don't think Newcastle will be in trouble. I don't think Everton will be in trouble. But if Sunderland maintain this and do look like they're going to stay up, and Leeds have a strong start and continue this, that means that the established Premier League teams are in big, big trouble. Right, let's look a little bit ahead to Manchester United. Of course, we will look ahead to Manchester United on the channel much more in depth as the week goes on. But I think it's worth touching on right now because Ruben Amorim is under massive, massive pressure right now. They lost against Brentford yesterday, and I think the concern for the concern for Manchester United is that Sunderland probably mimic a lot of that Brentford style. And look at how Brentford beat them yesterday. They got 2 early goals, but they were hitting them on counters with long balls, utilising their pace, getting in behind because of Man United's high line. Does that feel like a game plan that Sunderland could execute? It absolutely does. Sunderland are obviously a threat on set pieces as well, and Man United looked vulnerable from set pieces yesterday. So I think we go to Old Trafford looking like a team that plays almost on Manchester United's weaknesses. And Man United will create chances. They are a very, very good attacking team. I know they've had a bad start this season, but they do create a lot and they will have chances in the game. I don't think we'll be able to limit them to, maybe 2 or 3 shots on target. I think it'll be hard to do that, but I think we'll have opportunities on the break. And the toxicity at Old Trafford that could be there if they were to be losing this game. The fact that Amorim feels like he's really circling the drain right now. This is a horrific game for them to have coming up because it's a newly promoted team. They're expected to win. Amorim's under huge pressure. And they've come against a team that actually is a little bit of a kryptonite for them. They probably would have preferred to come up against a team that is going to be more dominant in possession and try and match the way Man United play. Not a team like us that will happily sit in, frustrate, and try and hit them on the counter-attack. So, Really, really interesting game for Sunderland. And look, for us, it's a free hit, isn't it? We've picked up our win against Nottingham Forest, and we looked at these two games, and we probably thought we'll take a point from the two of them. We've already picked up 3, so we can go there and relax, play our own game, try and frustrate them and try and pick up a huge win. So I think it's going to be really, really interesting. And I think we have threats to really hurt Manchester United, and that means we can go there and think that we can pick up at least a point, which would be significant. And I think the final point I wanted to talk about on this video is, should we as fans be looking up the table at this point? And look, we're only 6 games into the season. It's very, very early days. Things can change. You can lose 4 games in a row. But let's look ahead to kind of the next month or so of the season. We've got Manchester United away, then there's an international break. Then we've got Wolves at home, Chelsea away, Everton at home and Arsenal at home. So we've got 3 home games coming up. And if we were to pick up, let's say, 6 points from those 2 games, that will put us on 17 from 11 games. And look, you've got to win those games. I'm not just giving us points there. Well, I suppose I am, but that's not really what I mean. What I mean is, though, is if we can come out of that run with somewhere in the region of 17 points from 11 games, again, that's nearly halfway there to the survival total, and often it is around 34, 35 points to survive. Recently it's been less than that, but I think if the new promoted teams are better, the points total to survive probably will jump up, because the overall level of the Premier League, I think, is getting closer together now. So we could be about halfway there if we were to do that. And I think we have to look at this coming sort of 5 games and think, right, Man United away, Chelsea away, they're probably your free hit games. Arsenal at home obviously is a free hit. The Wolves home game, the Everton home game, we've got to look at them and think, right, can we get at least a win and a draw from those 2, and then maybe go to Man United and get something? I don't know. But yeah, it's exciting. And I think for me, I am always somebody who looks at the relegation total. I always look at, even when we're in the Championship, I'm still looking at, right, we need to hit 50 points and then build from there. I always try and think, right, you have to tick off goals before you look much further ahead. So for me, I am looking at the 40-point total. I'm looking at how far away we are from the teams at the bottom of the league. But I certainly wouldn't judge a fan who's looking at it and thinking, do you know what, maybe we can aim a little bit higher than that this season. And the more points you get on the board early doors, the better chance you've got of, staying up. And it means we can ride a bad run of form. You've got to pretty much pick up a point a game to survive. 38 points would probably just about keep you up. And, we've got 11 from 6. So we're 5 games ahead of that right now. That means we could afford to lose 5 games in a row. We'd still be on 11 points from 11 games. So, yeah, my pessimism always is to look at the relegation. But hey, I don't blame anyone for looking ahead. And, we keep hearing the mantra of let's get carried away. And it's really hard not to get carried away. I am getting carried away. Every fibre of my being is want to get carried away and is drinking in all this content. And I think we as Sunderland fans have to enjoy the moment right now, because it's been in my life, very early on, we had the Peter Reid days where we were doing this sort of thing and having a really strong season. And it looks like maybe this season could be a strong one. So let me know what you think in the comments below of Sunderland starting the season. Please leave a like and subscribe as well. We've got some interesting content coming up this week. We're interviewing Jam Sarni, or Joel. He's going to be on tomorrow, I think. So that'll be really, really interesting. We've got Matty Hewitt coming on as well. And then we're lining up some international break interviews. Alt Endon will be coming on at some point to sort of have a bit of a debrief of the early start. So lots of good content coming on the channel. Also released a book. I've mentioned that a few times, but there we are. I'll put it in the description if you're interested in that and if you're still watching. So thanks for watching this video. We'll catch you very soon for another.